With a crash in the U.S. housing market nowhere in sight, we're left to wonder, where do we go from here? There have been some developments on the supply and demand side of the market that point to a breakout from the frozen state the market has been in the last year. In today's video, we're going to look at the latest data and assess where the U.S. housing market is headed in 2024. Let's get into it. There's no denying that the U.S. housing market was frozen in 2023, with home prices and sales barely moving despite record levels of unaffordability due to how high mortgage rates soared. The latest data from Redfin, a national real estate brokerage, shows the U.S. median home price has pretty much returned to the all-time high set back in May of 2022. It looked like prices were set to head lower in the face of multi-decade high mortgage rates, but prices just trended sideways before starting to head higher again in April 2023. This begs the question, what is in store for the housing market in 2024? We have some developments on both the supply and demand sides of the market that appear to be showing where we're headed this year. The first indicator to look at is new home listings. While this indicator is still at historic lows, it has been increasing for the last 5 months now, putting it in a confirmed uptrend. One of the reasons the housing market has been frozen is the lack of sellers entering the market, which maintained upward pressure on prices because of the historically low supply. But it seems like we're seeing a thawing in the market, with new listings starting to trend higher. What's behind this latest movement? Mortgage rates. After peaking at 7.8% at the end of October, the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage has steadily trended lower, and as of January 5th was 6.6%, the lowest level since May 2023. In one of my recent videos, I made the case for mortgage rates heading below 5% in 2024, which will help sellers as well as buyers. After all, many people that sell their home have to turn around and buy another one to live in. Here's how much of a difference it makes to go from a 7.8% mortgage rate to 5%. If we take the current median home price of $414,000 and assume a 20% down payment and a mortgage rate of 7.8%, the monthly housing payment would be $2,384. Now, if we kept that same home price and down payment and just changed the mortgage rate to 5%, the monthly payment becomes $1,778. That difference of $606 a month makes a huge difference for the average home buyer. Now, you might be saying that mortgage rates coming down in October couldn't affect new home listings that started trending higher in June. And you would be right. But what likely made a difference was the anticipation of mortgage rates heading lower. Back in June 2023 is when the Fed took their first pause on raising their Fed funds rate. They did raise it one more time after that, but have held it steady since then. This sent some strong signals that the era of rising interest rates was coming to an end. A lot of buyers that finance with a mortgage had just that kind of thinking in mind. A survey conducted in September 2023 found that 85% of buyers that purchased a home with a mortgage planned on refinancing later at a lower rate. What this means in 2024 is that new listings are likely to return to a level more consistent with historical trends as mortgage rates come down and sellers are increasingly comfortable listing their home without having to worry about sky-high mortgage rates when they turn around and buy their next home. So we're likely to see supply loosening up quite a bit in 2024, and that may lead us to think that prices would head lower as a result of the rising supply. If the increase in supply was all that happened, this would be correct, but there is a lot of pent-up demand out there that can absorb the new supply. We can see this by looking at home sales over the last few years. Sales generally head higher over time, and here's where they would have hypothetically trended if the pandemic had not taken place and mortgage rates had not surged. This area here is all the potential sales that could have happened but didn't because new listings plunged. Behind each one of these potential sales that didn't happen, there was a potential buyer that would have purchased a new home but didn't due to lack of affordability and supply. And just like we're seeing an uptick in supply as a result of anticipated and actual mortgage rates heading lower, we're seeing it on the demand side as well. It wouldn't look like it from this chart of home sales, but when we look at pending home sales, we get a better idea of where things are headed next. These are transactions where there has been an accepted offer on a home, but have not yet closed escrow. This gives us a good sense of where we'll see final sales heading in the next few months. According to Redfin's data, pending home sales have been increasing for the last 8 months now on a seasonally adjusted basis, suggesting that we should start seeing this graph of closed home sales start picking up in the months ahead. The real story here is the effect lower mortgage rates are having on both supply and demand sides of the market. With both supply and demand for housing increasing in 2024, I don't think we're going to see any big movements in the median home price. The two sides of the market cancel each other out to some respect when it comes to their effect on price. But we're going to see more activity. This is great for buyers as they will have more options, and great for sellers that finally feel comfortable listing their home. There's plenty of pent-up supply and demand to make this happen, and falling mortgage rates will be what thaws out this once frozen housing market. The biggest risk factor to housing remains an economic recession, which many people think will come in 2024. This would have an adverse effect on housing demand and could drive prices lower if it materialized. I also do a monthly video on where we are on the economy, and I'll be covering all the latest developments each month. So if you want to see my next video on these topics, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell down below so you won't miss my next video when it comes out. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up down below to support the channel and help it grow. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.